So I think for our audience, there's a lot of aviation questions. Some happened not on your watch, but some you definitely were influenced. I'd like to ask about each of these if it's okay.
Sure.
So the first one, and we get this question a lot, and I know you weren't there at that time, but the Marine Corps was lined up to get F-14s. In fact, one of our squadron mates was working at Grumman and went into the cockpit, and when it was designated for us, signed his name, and then the program fell apart. Why did the Marines not get the F-14?
Well, the final decision was General Wilson, the commandant. But we had been working for some time prior to my first tour in the aviation hallway at headquarters about a neck-down strategy to get us down to fewer type model series. And we had that laid out, how we were going to go from A4s and F4s to just F4s, no longer have the RF4, but use ATARs on the F-18. And so the intent was to bring down the total number of type model series. And I think that was probably the biggest factor in that was this would be an introduction of another type model series. And it would mean all the maintenance training, all of that would go with it. And then obviously it was a much more expensive airplane at that point.
So we just ran the F4 into the F-18 and skipped the
F-14
intermediates.
Yeah. But the neck down strategy was created over time, and it applied not only to the fixed wing, but also to the rotary wing. One of our deputy commandants for aviation, Harry Blott, had the idea about making the Yankee, the Cobra and the Huey much more similar, like 75% commonality in parts. And so we had the Yankee and the Zulu program. And the other advantage is, so now you go on an amphib ship, you can cross-deck your maintenance Marines. So training back on stateside, and when you got them on the boat, if you got a problem on a Yankee, you might be able to help the young Marine on the Zulu. And so there were double savings there by making them that similar.
That's similar. And the Marine Corps really squeezed a lot of service out of the F-4, skipped the F-14, that led right into the F-18. Was the transition from F-4s to F-18s fairly quick?
Yeah, I think it was. After I gave up 232, it was a year later that they flew their F-4s in and started changing into the F-18.
Okay.
The East Coast was already ahead of us. In fact, I think Trip Trey was the first F-18 squadron out of the East Coast.
Yeah.
But it was pretty rapid.
Okay.
And then, of course, the F-18 also replaced the A6.
Right.
And that was, again, a fairly
neck down
strategy.